Hello everyone! Hey, New Year's is right around the corner, so today we're going to talk about planning for what's next, right now on The Front.
Thanks for tuning in to Lead the Teams, The Front.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so that you're the first to know about new episodes, uploads, and when I go live. Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and join me today. My name is Mike Phillips and I will be your host. This is The Front, and today I'm talking about planning for what's next. Or really, we're just talking about planning in general because the new year is right around the corner. Everybody is talking about it. Everybody's excited for the up and coming year and what's going to happen and how things are going to change and what do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? And everybody is excited about those things. You know, I'm a believer that resolutions don't work. And the reason is because resolutions we make in the moment, right? Resolutions are an idea. They are an idea of what it is that we want to achieve. It's something we're excited about because we say, hey, at midnight on December 31st, everything's going to flip over and everything's going to change. And the reality is nothing's going to change if you don't change. And so I'm talking about the subject of planning today to help you change and help propel you forward, not just into the new year, but into each day, into each week, into each month, going forward from now on. So it's going to stem from one question. What is your plan? What is your plan? Because see, when it comes to proper planning, the first thing you've got to have a goal. You have to know what it is that you're going after. You have to know what it is that you want to achieve. And you got to be very definitive with that goal. Then the second thing is you've got to write down steps. It's important to write things down because when you write things down, they become real. And it helps you flesh out other ideas and create additional plans that you may not have thought of because you start writing, and by taking that action, you start to explore other ideas. Your mind starts to think of other things and you just start writing and it flows and it creates additional actions that you can take to achieve that goal. The third thing when it comes to planning is you got to tell somebody. You need someone to help hold you accountable. Besides yourself, it's important that you tell someone that's a trusted advisor, a friend, a spouse. Just tell someone what that goal is, what it is that you're going after, because then they can check up on you. If they really care about you, they will check up on you and they'll make sure that you're pushing yourself forward. And it'll remind you to do self-checkups as well. That's the next thing. Do self-checkups, right? Ask yourself, where am I at? Where should I be? Where do I want to be? You know, and be very honest. Sometimes we're not entirely truthful with ourselves. We want to sugarcoat it. We want to show ourselves the best side of us. In a situation like this, you need to be absolutely honest with where it is that you are currently at, and is that moving you closer to the goal? Is it getting you closer to where you want to be? And if it's not, you got to change your tactics. If it is, that's great. Right? Then keep doing more of that. But if it's not moving you closer to that goal, whatever that individual goal is, then you're going to have to change it. And you got to be honest with yourself to be able to change that. And the last little step here, you got to celebrate your wins. You've got to celebrate your small victories along the way. See, we forget to do that. We get so wrapped up in what the goal is and then having written the stuff down and people checking on us and us checking on ourselves, and we're all wrapped up in what the process is that we don't slow down and take the time to celebrate the win. When you get closer to that goal, when you hit something that you wanted to hit, take the time to celebrate it. You know, go treat yourself. Treat your spouse or your family or your coworkers to something that says, hey, I did a job well done and I wanted to celebrate this with myself and with you. You know, that'll help prime your brain to keep working on that thing that it is that's so important that you wanted to achieve in the first place. Now, I'll give you a tip. Having a plan and having an idea are not the same thing. Like I said at the beginning, to me, I think a resolution is more of an idea. We're like, oh man, hey, I got this idea and I want to lose weight, right? That's the idea. Well, the actual plan, it comes into play. It's how much weight and by when. You've got to write it down. You have to be definitive. You have to have checkpoints. You have to do all of those things that I'm talking about, because once you formulate that plan, you're going to get closer to the goal of what it is that you want to achieve. Like, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds by June 1st. When you're definitive on something, you can gauge the checkpoints. You can check in on yourself. Others can check in on you. They know what the end game looks like. You know, I was talking with a group of salespeople the other day, and as we're headed into the last weekend here of the year, and I said, hey, so what is your plan for the weekend? And lots of people are like, hey, I'm going to have a really good attitude. I'm going to talk to lots of customers. I'm going to be really excited when the customers come in and talk with me. And that's all well and good, but that's the idea, right? Those things are things you should be doing anyway when it comes to sales and business. So that's where I came up with the question. I said, well, what is your plan? How do you plan to execute on it? How many phone calls? How many appointments are you going to set? How many specific people are you going to speak with? And how many deals will you close? Right? When it comes to a sales process, we kind of know what the plan is. But when it comes to generating those sales, sometimes we get lost in the mix because we think, well, by being really positive, I'm going to generate sales. That doesn't always work. You have to be really definitive and line those things out. I'm going to run back through it. First, you got to have the goal. Second, you got to write it down. Third, tell somebody else so they can help hold you accountable. Fourth, check in on yourself. See where you're at with the goals that you've set for yourself to begin with. And fifth, make sure that you celebrate those small victories, those small wins along the way, because it's so, so important. So thank you for taking the time to tune in to this episode of The Front. I appreciate you. Remember, I do this every Wednesday and Sunday, and I would love to have you tune in and join me. So for more motivational tips to increase your influence and to level up your leadership, make sure you tune in and check out leadtheteam.tv. Happy New Year to you, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day and a fantastic year too. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.